Do you have a pop of color in your wardrobe? Today I'm talking about bold eyewear colors. And what does that mean? Well, most people wear tortoiseshell, some variation of brown. A lot of people even wear black, and black can be a bold look if the frame is thick and bold. But today I'm talking about bold colors like green, purple, orange. Well, in today's video, I'm going to share with you my 4 favorite bold colors in eyewear right now. Hello and welcome to the Hicks Brunson Eyewear YouTube channel. I am your friendly neighborhood optician, Daniel Brunson. Thank you so much for being here. On this channel, I like to talk about my favorite indie eyewear designers. I like to talk a lot about custom tinted transitions looks. I have a whole playlist on that if you want to check those out. But in today's video, I want to talk a little bit more about the style of frame, particularly as it relates to color. And the theme of today's video is my 4 favorite bold color eyewear looks. And I'm going to share with you those 4 frames in order of quality, starting at good quality and moving all the way up to sort of the ultra luxury premium quality design. So that's how we're going to do today's video. Let's get into it. And I'm going to start out with this bold color by Catch London, and this is the Garrett frame. And let's put this on while I'm talking about it. And I want to say a few things just about the brand Catch London, based out of London, as the name implies. And it's described as a bold, creative, urban sunglasses and eyeglasses made for men and women, designed and made in London with the finest materials, including premium acetate and stainless steel, as is shown with this model here, the Garrett. So you have nice quality acetate. This is a color that, what color would you say this is? I'll give you just a minute to answer. I would say this is orange. There's going to be a little bit of a theme in the show here today about colors, obviously, or about how eyewear designers name their colors, because in preparation for this video, I was looking at all of these frames that I'm going to show you today, and it turns out Catch London calls this color yellow. Wait for it. Yellow. Yellow? Okay. I don't know if I'm buying yellow. Looks very orange to me. The metal is like a very, very dark gunmetal, almost a black, super dark gunmetal color. And it does have a metal rim that runs through the entire front. And then it has these thick, chunky acetate Eyewear rims inside the metal. A little Eyewear screw right here, so these pieces can be removed, so lenses can be made for this frame. And then of course it has the full acetate temple. Catch London is a very nice brand. If you're looking to get into good quality for a price that's not as high as some of the more premium quality brands out there, Catch London's still very nice, made in England. I like the decor pieces. See if you can see the decor pieces on the temple arms here. They, at first glance, they just appear to be the normal rivets that you would see, but one actually says C and one actually says L for the Catch London brand. So some nice detail work, but otherwise, fairly simplistic in construction. You've got a little bit of sculpting. There's no hard edges anywhere, so you have the nice quality that you get with higher quality brands, but you don't have super high polishes and super modified sculpting like you see with some of the ultra premium brands. But this is, again, model Garrett. They call it yellow, I call it orange. Real quick rundown on size. It's a 51 eye size, 23 bridge, 140 millimeter temple. It's a nice big chunky square, and in this color it's going to really create that bold look that you may have been looking for, that pop of color in your eyewear wardrobe. All right, let's jump to the next look. All right, this is the 642, model 642 by Tom Davies. Just moving up a little bit in quality here. Tom Davies is a brand that we have carried here at Hicks Brunson Eyewear. We were one of the first stores in the United States to carry this brand. We launched it in 2007 when the brand first launched in the United States. It was actually founded in 2002 by Tom Davies. It is based out of London. Tom Davies is a British eyewear designer, and Tom Davies eyewear is made of premium acetate. titanium materials, horn, and other precious metals in the collection. So here we have color 1825, which in the Tom Davies catalog is described as crystal purple with polished silver core wires. And you may be able to see some of the decor design work on that interior core wire. You can see with the hinge here that it is silver. See a silver hinge there. Now, I chose this frame for this video because of the bold purple color, but there's an interesting story behind this frame. The color, again, it's described as purple. I call it purple, but I've had many people tell me they see blue and they would just call this blue. And I'd say, no, you're crazy. I say this is purple. But when I looked up, some of the blue color spectrum, there is a color called royal blue that does look strikingly similar to this shade of purple. So there's the debate. It kind of reminds me of the viral dress that broke the internet, and that was in 2015. And you might remember, some saw, some saw blue, some saw purple, in the what was it, gold? Maybe some saw gold and white and some saw blue and white. And people got into arguments about what color this dress was. This frame almost kind of reminds me of that in a way. And then another interesting tip or interesting fact about this frame, the Tom Davies 642, it was famously worn by Neil Patrick Harris in the fourth installment of the Matrix series, The Matrix Resurrections, starring Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss. And Neil Patrick Harris, who played a prominent role as the Analyst, he wears this frame. If you haven't seen the movie, it wasn't the best Matrix movie in the series, but I still think it was a very good Matrix movie. Reviews were mixed, but check out the trailer. It heavily features Neil Patrick Harris wearing this frame. And when that trailer came out, Tom Davies had a hard time supplying the demand. Everybody wanted this frame. We had to wait months and months and months to get it, but it's still quite popular because it is a good look, and especially if you want to add a bold pop of color to your eyewear wardrobe, this color is a fantastic option. Oh, eye size, let's go ahead and talk about that, is a 51 eye, 18 bridge, 140 temple. All right, let's move on to the next frame in my series, again going in order of quality from good, better, best, ultra. This is a frame from Parisian brand Fossafos, and Fossafos is described as a brand that exudes audacity, always exquisite and daring, drawing inspiration from modern art, architecture, and contemporary design. And boy, is that ever true of the Fossafos eyewear, especially the piece that I'm going to show you today. This bold green color comes from the, there's a subset of the Fossafos eyewear brand that is called Alium. And Alium was created and geared heavily towards men. And you'll see why when I start to describe this frame. This is the model called Torx 1. This is color 9033, and this great green aluminum with dark crystal tortoise acetate. And yeah, I don't know that I would really call that a true tortoise necessarily, but it's a dark crystal, kind of tortoise-ish acetate. Alium is called Alium because the fronts are a metal that we call aluminum. So they're made of aluminum, which is just awesome. When I remember back in, what year would that have been? I think around 2014, when Pascal Jolant, who was then creative director, lead designer of Fossafos, when he launched the Alium collection geared towards men, it really was an impressive and welcome thing for me to see, because we hadn't really seen any eyewear brands produce eyewear out of aluminum and that I was aware of in many, many decades. If you look back in the history of eyewear, brands like Tura in the 1950s, 60s, they were making eyewear out of aluminum, but everything was some kind of nickel or titanium started to come onto the scene more in the 80s, 90s. So we hadn't seen aluminum in so long. It was cool to see them using aluminum, and I actually interviewed Pascal in New York City at Market. I think it was back in 2014. Maybe I can find a clip of the video where I asked him about this, and he was talking about the benefits of aluminum. It's strong. It's twice as light as titanium, so that means you can create this thicker silhouette. And because it's twice as light as titanium, it's still very light and comfortable to wear. And what he did that was very innovative was he created this hinge, which, if you can see there's these little tiny slivers, these little cuts right there in the hinge, the part where it curves around, that attaches to the hinge, the part of the front that curves around. There's these little tiny slivers that have been cut in there, and that allows opticians like myself to get full control over adjustability. So we can grab this hinge here and we can move the temples down to add pantoscopic angle. We can move the temples out or in if we want to tighten them or loosen them. So it gives us all kinds of freedom to fit the frames to you, so you get the perfect fit. And the Alium frames also all feature adjustable nose pads. And then the temple arms, as I mentioned, are acetate, so fully adjustable acetate temples. They did include spring hinges here, so they go on nice and smooth and kind of conform and fit very comfortably on most people. So again, this is the Alium Torx, definitely one of the most, I would say, geared towards men pieces that they have produced in the Alium collection. Like I'm thinking like Torx wrench, Torx driver, and they changed out the way that the Eyewear, you can see this little seam right here, the way the Eyewear is held together. There is a tiny little hole right there where there is a star head screw, and the screw actually goes into this, if you can see this silver piece right on the back here. So the aluminum isn't threaded. There's a silver piece that is put into a hole in the aluminum that it has the threads for the screw to go into to hold these together. So they're quite beautiful, very comfortable to wear, and they're available in great colors like this green is here in the Alium Torx 1. All right, moving along to the fourth and final piece in my bold eyewear colors series. And this one actually is a model by T. Henri. And I'm gonna show you the sunglass version of it, but T. Henri frames, they make great sunglasses, or you can convert them to optical. So I'll show you the sunglass version first, then I'll show you the optical version. But look at this beauty here. This is the Valour. And again, as I mentioned, this is from eyewear brand T. Henri. T. Henri brand is known for making investment grade collectible eyewear with designs that transcend the generations. They're all inspired by some of the world's most high-end super premium sports cars. So this one is described as a fusion of retro and modern styling with a bold and muscular stance. So the Valour, that's V-A-L-O-U-R, named after the Aston Martin Valour. So you have some of the highest quality materials in T. Henri frames, including this one here. You have cotton acetate, you have an 8mm hand-carved front. You can see the thickness here. Nice thick chunky acetate here. You've got sterling silver front decor pieces. Those are right here and right here with two-tone enamel detailing. Make sure we can get a good look at that. And you have crystal acetate window on the temple arms that showcases the titanium core wire. You have German 7-barrel hinges right in here with titanium rivet plates anchored with octagon, like signature octagon rivets. So just the highest end of all components available. The acetate is very well polished. I just talk about the design. When you get into higher end frames, you've got a lot of sculpting work that goes into the bridge design, the way the projection fades back and sculpts around, the way the temple tips kind of flare out here, but all the corners are very rounded, very polished, no jagged edges anywhere. And you've got just a very comfortable fit because of all that. This model here is number 10 of only 100. You can see right here, only 149 pieces made in this colorway, which, by the way, I selected this for this series because this is a color called Oxblood, and the lens color is called Ruby Gradient. So such a bold look. Now, this may not be one of the most brightest vibrant colors, but if you've wanted to have something that was maybe a color that wasn't the typical tortoiseshell or the typical brown, the Oxblood might be an easy way to kind of get into a unique and different color if you want it, because it's a more neutral, darker, more crimson kind of red. It's really good looking, and it not only makes a good sunglass, but when I was looking at it, the ruby gradient tinted lens color, how well would this pair with some sort of a custom light fire red tint that you could wear indoors, that it might transition to the new Transitions Gen S Ruby. I think that would be a fantastic look in the Valour here. So now let's take a look at the Valour in the optical version. Okay, so here I have a Valour without the sun lenses. So you can see if you're looking for a bold acetate silhouette with that thick, chunky T. Henri style, the Valour here would give you an incredible look. You could put the fire red, some kind of a red gradient indoor tint, maybe a 30%, and combine it with a Transitions Ruby. I think that would be a fantastic look. For those of you that have followed along for a while, you know exactly what I'm talking about. For those of you that are like, what's he talking about? Indoor fire gradient tint. I'll make a link to videos I've made on that look down below. But this is the fourth and final bold color frame in my series. I hope you've enjoyed watching this series. I hope I've inspired you to get some new eyewears, to add a little bit of color, have a little bit of fun with your eyewear looks. And if you liked what you saw here today, I'd appreciate a comment down below. Maybe you think I missed a bold color. Maybe you think you've got some other ideas on what I could include in my next series like this. I love to see your comments. I really appreciate those. If you'd give me a like and a subscribe, I will see you in the next video.